Peace and blessings, everyone. I'm Bree.
And I'm Lisa.
And you're tuning into Ask Bree and Lisa TV for another episode of Caffeine and Cash Flow. Yes, so welcome. Good evening. It is officially September 2024. We made it.
So do you know what that means?
Do you know what that means?
Do you know what that means? It is Life Insurance Awareness Month.
Yes, indeed. Officially Life Insurance Awareness Month. Now, I know that's not something that people generally just know about, right? So that's where we come in.
We're here to shed some truth on some facts that may not be or that are not completely true.
Shed some truth. Yeah. Shed some light.
Shed some light.
Shed some truth. Shedding truth.
We're revealing the truth about some misconceptions when it comes to life insurance.
Yeah, but the whole point of Life Insurance Awareness Month is simply letting people know how important life insurance is in general, and how important it is to just have coverage and enough of it, and how much of an impact it can make on your family's lives and their financial future.
Absolutely.
So today, this month, what we're going to be doing, every episode this month, we want to touch on different myths. We've done a little research and we came across some disturbing statistics.
Yes.
When it comes to life insurance, consumers, different types of consumers, different generations of consumers. Like, the statistics were surprising.
A bit alarming.
Yeah, more so alarming than surprising. But every episode this month is going to be us just picking out one statistic and just shedding some light and bringing some clarity to that statistic, and more so to the myths. There's a lot of myths around life insurance, so we want to fight the myths, like that. Yeah. Eye twitching. Got something in my eye. Yeah. So like that. So yeah. You want to go ahead and...
Should we discuss the first one?
Yeah.
Discussing the first one?
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, I guess we can say the statistic that we came across, right? That led us into that. So one of the alarming statistics that we read on is 78% of consumers overestimate the cost of life insurance. 78%.
We knew a lot of people overestimated the cost, but 78%.
To see it in numbers.
Yeah.
So that's what leads us to our first myth, is that life insurance is too expensive. That's what we hear a lot, especially within our generation and the younger generation, is that life insurance is just too expensive.
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? The thought of something, or the concept of something being too expensive, differs from person to person. So it's all about perception and what each person values. So, for an example, you take somebody that values having a cup of coffee every single day. If they value coffee, then a $10 cup of coffee is not expensive. right? They,
Right.
right. But to somebody that doesn't value coffee to that extent, $10 is for a cup of coffee is absurd.
Right.
Completely way too expensive. Now, and mind you, perception and value. So when it comes to, the cost of life insurance, it being too expensive, it all comes down to, you know, the general population's perception of it and what people value, right?
And so that leads into, right, the reasons why or how this misconception came about, right? So some of the key reasons on how this whole idea of life insurance is just too expensive came about was, number one, misleading advertisement, right? So between the commercials, the endless amount of commercials that's on TV, even if you're watching YouTube and a commercial pops up, or you're going through, what is it, TikTok or whoever else, where there's commercials and all different types of advertisements, right? So misleading advertising that may just be overshooting the amount of insurance. Also, complex and confusion. A lot of people don't know about life insurance. They don't want to know about life insurance. The idea of speaking to a financial professional can be overwhelming, or can sound a little scary. So that's another reason why. The fear of high costs, right? So again, that going back to the first and the second one, misleading advertisements, confusion, not knowing a lot about it, leads to the fear of it being high cost without even doing the research. The fear itself of it being high cost is causing paralysis for them to go and look and do the research on their own. And so last things last is hearing it through the grapevine. So, maybe your aunt's sister's cousin happened to have, was talking about or is complaining about high cost of insurance. However, did you ask about maybe like her health or further indicators to kind of maybe come to the conclusion of, oh, that's why, and that's why it would make sense? Probably not. You probably just kind of heard that story and was just like, oh, life insurance is too expensive. So those are some of the key reasons as to how this misconception came to be.
Yeah. And on all of those points between misleading advertising, we all know that commercials are not looking out for our best interests as consumers, as the people. When it comes to complexity and confusion, anything can be complex and confusing when you're like living, and I mean this in the best way, when you're living in ignorance, when you don't know, when you're uninformed, when you're uneducated. Anything can come off as very complex or confusing. The fear of high cost, that comes back to perception. What's your idea of high cost? And then the fear of the high cost without doing the research, you're kind of living a lie at that point, because you have this fear of something that you haven't even done any research on. You haven't talked to a professional about. You haven't even come to a solid, informed conclusion. Mm-hmm. So fear of a high cost of something that's probably, not costly that's almost absurd to me. And then hearing it through the grapevine, you might have an uncle, cousin, brother, sister, friend that's like, oh, they got into Bitcoin and they know everything that has to know about Bitcoin. Well, if they're not swimming in money and already very much wealthy and well off, why would you take advice from somebody that isn't living the life that you want to live? And even if they are living the life that you want to live, why aren't you doing research to figure out what works for you? Because what works for them doesn't and might not always work for you. So all of those reasons as to why the misconception around the cost of insurance came to be, those are all there's simple solutions to all of those. And it really does comes down to just being more well informed, doing some research, talking to financial professionals like ourselves, like doing some research and finding someone that you would like to talk to. Either way, it's better to just be informed, right? Now, when it comes to the cost of insurance, right? For an example, and this is just an example, and it can go either way. But let's say we're talking to someone. Actually, I'll do a more real life example. I personally just recently helped the client get coverage, and I helped this client get coverage with an IUL and a term combination. Now, this client of mine, they're in their mid-20s. They are healthy. They are non-smokers. And this is their first time having like insurance that they own, right? Now, in terms of the term, right? And we're going to talk about the term. Term is basically insurance that you have, you pay a premium and have a face amount for a set period of time. Just a quick little overview. This specific term is for what was it? I think I did it for 20 years. It was either 15 or 20 years. I want to believe 15. So 15-year, 20-year term, $500,000 in coverage. And this client, because of her health rating being just a healthy, young, non-smoker, she's paying less than $7 a month for $500,000 in coverage. And I laugh like this because, oh, I'm touching my mic. Okay, wow. I laugh like this because that surprised me. Like I knew it was going to be low. At first it was somewhere around 20 something dollars, but we ended up getting it lowered because her health class, she got approved for a better health rating. And it ended up going from maybe, I think, $21, $22 a month to less than $7 a month for $500,000 in coverage. So if you're young and healthy, coverage can range from almost $5, almost, to $30, $40 even, depending on how much coverage you ended up getting. Like there's variables in there, but if you're young and you're healthy, now is the time more than ever to get it, because, a lot of young folks, and we're guilty of it as well, believe that that we're invincible. We'll never die. We'll never get hurt. Invincible. Yeah, invincible. That we'll never die. We'll never get hurt, never get sick, never become impaired or disabled. That it can. We don't know. We don't know what the future holds or what can happen to us. So getting coverage now is just the best option to do it for. If you're looking to make sure your family doesn't, struggle or worry about how to take care of medical bills or funeral costs and this, that, and the other. But the cost of insurance is, for people in our age group, millennials, Gen Z, it can be so affordable. It'll blow your mind.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was a great example. And even though you may not necessarily understand everything that was, said in her example entirely, the point is that you can get as little as $5 a month in coverage, right? As little as, or as low as $5 a month, right? Up to about $30 to $40, depending on how long you want the coverage, depending on your age. Because in this case, when it comes to life insurance, it's not like your typical car insurance where the younger you are, the more of a liability you are. It's the complete opposite. So the older you are when it comes to life insurance, the more of a liability you are. So the cost of insurance then arises. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't need life insurance. I'm healthy and I'm great. And it's like, that's the point. That's exactly why you need life insurance, is because everything is great. Your health is good. You never know what can happen tomorrow. So why not be prepared for that? And we also are going to discuss in in the next week or so, right? Because it's going to be all month. But there are benefits to having life insurance. And we will touch more on that in another episode. So, look out for that if you want to learn more. But so let's do an example because Bree talked about the coffee example, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring out my handy dandy calculator, right? So let's just say on average, you're spending about $10 at Starbucks, right? So let's just say you're spending an average of $10 at Starbucks Monday through Friday, your typical work week, right?
And don't trip. We used to be at Starbucks every day. We know that price can rack up real quick because it's a Monday morning. We about to clock in. You want the venti. You want the extra foam or the extra whipped cream.
You need that venti because
Right.
you're extra tired today.
And you might need a double espresso shot mixed in. And we know the price at Starbucks can rack up. So don't trip. Don't trip.
So let's just say the average you're spending is about $10 because, again, we understand that it could be more, it could be a little less. It depends on the day that you're having, right? So on the average, $10, and we're going to times that by 5 for the 5 days, right? And then, so how did you do that? Times 4?
Times by 4 weeks.
Times by 4, right? So 4 weeks in a month, right? So 50, we're at 50, right?
A week.
10 times 5, you're just spending $50 a week. Right there alone, you're already paying over the cost of what life insurance could be for you.
In a week.
For just coffee, right? But we're going to go ahead and times that by 4.
Yeah.
So you spent or are spending $200 a month on coffee.
Now, wait a minute. Because I don't think people really understand sometimes, I used to work in retail and I used to get paid every week. And every week my check was, if I was lucky, $300. Working full time. About 270 something, 80 some dollars. If I worked over, it might have been $320. But I worked every day. I didn't miss days. There was a Starbucks in the same parking lot of the retail store I used to work at. At one point, I was at Starbucks spending $6, $7, $8 a day for my coffee. Not to mention that on my lunch break, if I didn't bring a lunch, with some leftovers or something like that, I'm at Wawa. Or what was near us? Tijuana Flats, Chipotle, Smoothie King. And Smoothie King, between a smoothie and a wrap, it's a wrap. I'm spending, I was, come on now.
At tropical smoothie,
not Smoothie
with
King.
the wrap.
Tropical smoothie. But either way, between that morning coffee and whatever I had for lunch, if I bought out, that if I'm making $200-$300 a week in a month, I'm looking at $1,200 in a month, and
that is your paycheck,
right? So $1,200 minus, let's say, maybe $200-$300, $400 a month. So I'm probably netted $800 after I spent money on the food and drinks that I spent for breakfast and lunch or whatever.
Yep. Same here when I used to go into the office. Now, mind you, not only am I having to drive 40 minutes there and back, and sometimes longer if it's traffic, because we all know Tampa and St. Pete traffic. Well, we all don't know, but if you're from Florida and Tampa, you know the traffic. So, not only am I doing gas, but then I'm also stopping to get some breakfast, whether that's Starbucks or, something like that for breakfast. And then every day, Monday through Friday, when I was at the office, I had lunch. I went to Publix for Publix subs. Sometimes I was feeling a little this and a little that, so I would go somewhere else. But Publix subs, that's like $8 just for the sub. Then you got, if I want a drink, which was usually an energy drink, because of course the coffee in the morning wasn't enough, and then your chips and things like that. So by the end of it all, like in just the day, I'm already spending more than what it would be in a month for life insurance.
So, what are some solutions we can give the people? Because we put out the statistic, we put out the myth, and we put out some examples. What solutions can we give people to help them understand?
Well,
or help them, some tangible, some actionable tokens.
Right. So first things first, I would say speak to a financial professional. I would say it's imperative. Everybody should do that. And I understand that maybe sitting down, or the idea of sitting down with a financial professional, can feel a bit exposing. But we're not here to drill you and tell you everything that you're doing wrong. We're not here to do that. Unless, of course, it's on here and on this podcast and we're letting you know. But no, we're not here. When we sit down with you, we're not like there to tell you like you did this wrong, you should be here. And it's nothing like that. It is a very innocent consultation where we are trying to understand what your financial dreams and goals are, and how and what you can do to make that happen and achieve those goals. Because I'm sure achieving your ultimate financial dream is a lot more important than having your Monday morning coffee.
Yeah, our goal, Lisa and I's goals as financial professionals, is to help our clients get into alignment with what their goals are, what their dreams are, what what they want their financial future to look like. Our goal and our mission is to get you in alignment. And we do that by just educating you, informing you, putting together a plan that works and fits your lifestyle, a plan that you agree to, that you can see the trajectory of that plan working out for you in the long run, in the end. And that's our goal at the end of the day. That's what we strive to do with all of our clients or potential clients. It's just give you those tangibles and help you understand that, help you believe that it can happen for you. Yeah. That you can be insured, you can take care of your family financially even after you're gone, or even after you can't work anymore. You can do it. You don't have to be filthy rich or wealthy. You can start right now. And there's also plans to help you become wealthy, help you set up that foundation. So talk to a professional, talk to somebody that's licensed. Like we can't stress that enough. Talk to someone that's licensed, ask for their license number, ask to see their license. Talk to someone that's licensed.
Absolutely. I like that you said that, ask for their license, ask for their number, and you can just double check.
Yeah, you can look it up.
We will gladly provide you that information. Heck, we'll get on the computer and show you ourselves that we're actually, that we are licensed, and that, we are professionals in this and are licensed to be able to guide you to your financial dreams and goals, right? And so that would be the main thing that I would say. And now, before, let's say, you sit down with a financial professional, if you want to do some self-evaluating, absolutely. But I always say it's better when you have that accountability buddy. Right. Yeah. So even if when you're like, I'm getting ready, I'm going to go to the gym every day and I'm going to just spend an hour there. Right. And, a lot of the times when you're just by yourself, you can just convince yourself, I don't need to do it today. And then the next day it's like, I don't need to do it today either. Right. And then before you know it, you're like 2 months, 3 months in, and you're like, damn. I haven't even went to the gym, but that's because you also didn't have somebody there, rather than having that accountability buddy to be there. And that's where we come in. We put it in this perspective of, okay, this is this is what your dreams and goals are. This is, the realm of where you can save or are saving. This is where you can and should maybe allocate your money in order to help you achieve those financial dreams and goals. So self-evaluating, absolutely take it back. Maybe we did hit a point when we talked about getting coffee every morning, Monday through Friday. I know we did, because if we did it, somebody else is out there doing that same thing.
Yeah.
So, just maybe take a step back. Like, do you have things in order? And if not, maybe like you can just kind of rearrange. And again, if you don't know how to do that or where to go, that's why we keep stressing and looping back to sitting down with a financial professional. And you can also see other ways that we can help you and just kind of get that list so you can see it, because I understand some people are visual. You can go to AskBarryandLisa.com.
Yes.
AskBarryandLisa.com. We have a complete list of things and things that we specialize in, and how we can help you in more ways than one. So that would be the main solution that I have, is speaking to a financial professional and doing some self-evaluating, on your own, on where you think you may be able to save, and kind of just reallocate to making sure that you have that coverage. And to Bree's point, have those things in place so you can better have that protection for your family. But also, as I spoke about before, there are benefits, living benefits, that you can have while having that life insurance. And again, we will touch on that in another episode, but that is something as well. So not only is there living benefits, but your family is protected and insured.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, just ask questions. Always ask questions. Be curious, learn. And if you have objections or questions or comments, concerns, whatever the case may be, that you want to share with us, feel free, like, share, comment, leave a review, reach out. Our phone number and email is pretty much all over the place in terms of our website and things like that. But ask questions. We implore you to just ask questions and be curious, because at the end of the day, you can do this research. This stuff we know because this is the life we live. We're always learning. We're always doing research. We're always sharpening our skills as agents, as licensed professionals, as agents in this industry, helping clients. But the same things that we do, you can do as well. Even if you're not licensed, you can do this research, and you can ask a professional. So
yeah, do the research. You definitely don't need to be licensed to do the research.
You really don't. So, takeaway, a call to action. Call to action, right? Here's the call to action to everyone out there listening. Go to askbreeandlisa.com. That's AskBreeandLisa.com. COM. Go to askbreeandlisa.com and book a time on our calendar. The first 5 people to book a time on our calendar for the month of September for Life Insurance Awareness Month will receive a complimentary consultation, 30 minutes of our time doing a consultation. You can ask us anything. You can
get some guidance.
Get some more knowledge on what it is that, some of the things that we're talking about.
Yeah,
and you can also be one step closer to securing your financial future just with that meeting. So call to action, go to askbreeandlisa.com, book a complimentary consult. And mind you, this is just for the month of September that we're going to be doing a 30-minute consultations. After this, it might be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It might not even be complimentary. Who knows? But for the month of September for Life Insurance Awareness Month, let's go ahead and link up, connect, and let's learn from each other. Let us teach you. Let us teach you what we know. We'll be more than happy to share that information. But yeah, stick around for the rest of this month. Every week we're going to be dropping a Ask Brie and Lisa TV podcast episode, and we're going to be touching on another myth or another statistic, and busting that myth based around that statistic.
Revealing the truth.
Yeah, shedding some light or shedding some truth, as she might say. So yeah, stay tuned for the rest of this month as we go a little deeper into some of these statistics, and we're looking to have a lot more fun with this, because the more we touch on these, the more we find these statistics and we do our own research based around how this statistic came to be, what's the history of it, why is it like this. We're really enjoying ourselves throughout this process, and we'd love to bring you guys with us. So definitely tune in. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're learning too, right? Like we discussed, we did that research, and the statistics can be a little bit unnerving, but we're excited to go through this with y'all. Follow along with us, every week, like Brie said, we're going to be going ahead and revealing another truth. And so just excited to shed some light on some things, shed some truths on some things. And remember, askbrieandlisa.com. Book that consultation. The first 5 individuals that book that consultation will be a 30-minute financial review consultation where we'll just go ahead and address any questions. So,
all right,
that's all we have for you.
Yeah. So thank you all again for tuning in to another episode of Ask Brie and Lisa TV, Caffeine and Cash Flow. And eventually we are gonna talk a little bit more about like our title, because we just want to share that. That's just a bonus. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We will see you next week for another episode. Peace out.